Hello everybody and welcome back to the Shunting Yard. I am James. I'm joined with Hilton and Rob today. Dan unfortunately is not able to join us. He has previous commitments. I want to say hello to everybody in the chat. We've got Northeast Albert, we've got Hooterton Model Railway, Dinmore Junction. Dinmore, thank you very much for your subscribe as well. That was the first actual alert notification I have seen on the actual channel. This is brilliant. It's all coming together.
Amazing.
How are we all? 3B Rail as well, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. Yeah, very, very good to be here. Alex G Modelling as well. Oi, 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 oi to you too, soldier. How are we both? That's to you two. How are we both?
Rob.
I'm pretty good. It's been I'm actually sitting in a loft that's actually had progress the last couple of days, so I'm actually quite happy to be up here. But I've been looking forward to this today. It's been pretty much the only thing that's got me through. So
oh, that's good to hear.
What about you, Hilt?
We've missed you.
Yeah, we've missed you, man. It's been like a whole 7 days and we haven't had you on the stream, so it's so good to have our homeboy back.
Yeah, good to be back.
I'm good. I got a bit sick earlier this week, but on the mend rather rapidly. But yeah, I'm good.
How are you feeling? All good, I hope.
Yeah. I had 2 really bad days on like Monday and Tuesday, and it's been progressively getting better. This is the 3rd time I've had the dreaded COVID, and it's I swear it's worse every time, but it seems to be getting shorter every time too. So small blessings, I guess.
Yeah. Good. Well, let's hope the third time is the charm, and you don't get it anymore.
Absolutely.
We've got let's have a quick hello to. So we've got Double O Duos in the chat as well. Hello, Yorkshire Railways. Hey, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Annie Raw, thank you very much for being here. It's lovely to see you all. There's a few first timers as well, which is amazing. So yeah, really good to see you guys. So, what a interesting week it has been. I was expecting nothing, quite honestly. I thought we were going to have a nice, boring week. I have outdoor stuff in the last 7 days, so all of my energy went outside. Hey, Aaron. Yes. Welcome, Lord of Chaos. We'll get to you later.
That is new title. The Lord of Chaos.
He is now the Lord of Chaos. Self-dub. So,
but which one?
Which Lord? I don't know. You tell me.
No, he's doing a Warhammer thing.
Yeah, I know he is.
Move along.
Yeah. So, no, but I have allotted a lot of time this weekend to get some modelling done, so watch this space. I also have a return.
We will watch this space, James.
I will. I do have a return to the workbench in the form of a Bachmann LMS Ginty that has come in for a Stay Alive fitting. But other than that,
you sound quite nervous about that, huh?
I am, because I have never fitted a Stay Alive before, and it's not my decoder, so
and it's not Great Western.
Well, it is a non-Great Western locomotive I am very fond of, so we'll leave it at that.
No, it is great. Nice.
Yeah, very happy with that. What about you two? Rob, what have you been up to this week? You say you've got loads of stuff done.
Well, my Cadian Gate station, which was once on this side of the loft, is now over here, and it's actually starting to take shape now with the shed painted, got the porter cabins built, got the baseboard painted. Yeah, it's and I've got the benches and the signs placed, so I'm quite happy with that. I just need some points to finish off the shed area, and it's all done, really. Just needs a bit more CB models stuff placing as well.
Damn, Rob, you're cooking.
Yeah, it's nice to actually see something happening, because nothing's happened for so long that it's actually nice to see something actually take place, and the engine actually has somewhere to arrive at now instead of just a runaround loop.
That's great. I'm loving it. Awesome, man.
Guys. We seem to be.
What about you guys? You especially. Well, you Hill. Your video that we saw.
I've been what I call what?
Hang on.
No, we're good.
No,
we
seem to be having some cutting in and out issues. The audio not being clear is 100% my fault. Yeah, 100% was my fault. So I hope you can hear the other guys now. But is the stream still stuttering in and out? There we go. Thankfully fixed. Perfect. So sorry. Carry on, Hilton. How are we? What modelling have you been doing? We'll listen. I'll keep an eye on the chat, and if we need to restart, we'll restart.
Cool. All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. I think maybe at this point we mentioned that we will be trialing out a few different stream services over the next couple of weeks, just to kind of find something that works a little bit better and is a bit more intuitive for all of us.
Yes. And also make it so that, because
me or Rob and we don't know what we're doing, so
yes. Well, not that you don't know what you're doing.
Yes.
Not like Defender doesn't know what he's doing.
I don't.
I don't know what I'm doing. I promise I don't. I have no idea what I'm doing. This week I have been what I call rockinizing. So I've been doing a whole bunch of rocks.
Nice.
On my cutaway on one side, and that goes all the way around now. And then I sealed in tunnel portals, and I did a tiny little bit of ballasting. But I suppose I'll update in my next update video. So
yeah,
look out for
I really
that.
enjoyed that. Your latest one.
He said the thing.
He said the thing.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
We love it when he says the thing.
We do.
It's become an internal meme. I might steal it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that last video of yours, Hilton, was really good. Although you say it was a bit disjointed, I think it perfectly described the progress that you've made on your layout, and it was really good. It was a really good update.
But it was chaotic.
That is very sweet, and yes, it was chaotic. I won't lie. I finished editing it, and I kind of uploaded it, and I was like, ooh, I don't know about this one. Hey, it's kind of all over the place. But people wanted to see how I did it, and so you can see the method to my madness, I guess.
No, there was definite method to madness. That is for sure. Fantastic. Well, there we are. And what have you guys been up to? Let us know in the chat. We'll get round to some of your comments before we hit the main segment. So let us know what you've been doing this week. We're very interested. And shameless plug here. If you aren't already part of the Discord, please go ahead and grab that. There is a link to it in the description of this video. I'll also be posting it out a few times moving forward. We have a lot of different chat rooms in there where you can share all your progress. You can talk models, one-to-one, gaming. There's loads of stuff in there. Come and join the community. It has not stopped. We are so happy with the amount of engagement that we're getting. It's unbelievable. We are incredibly humbled. So thank you guys for that very, very much.
I just want to give a shout out to the people I was talking to last night. The whole lot of you. There was like 6 of us. It was chaos, but it was brilliant. And that's probably the reason I got so much done on the layout, to be fair. So awesome. Brilliant to see the community alive.
Yeah, no, amazing. We're really happy about it, honestly. And so many people from so many different time zones. Like, genuinely, I think I might have to set up a role so we know who's where.
Totally agree. Yeah, we got people from all over the place, on every corner of the globe.
Which just
I was on I just popped in while I was doing stuff and listening, and the amount of knowledge in that chat is quite scary.
It just goes to show that the range of types of modelers, people that there are, everything like that, the hobby is nowhere near dying at all.
No, and there's a lot of young people as well. People of our age and below, and it's brilliant. It's brilliant to see younger people coming into the hobby.
Yes. My age test earlier did not go well. Anyway, so what have we got going on? So let's have a quick look at Sam Ollie. I've been trying to cope with the fact that a script I submitted got rejected. I'm really sorry to hear that. Good luck with the next one. You need someone to bounce ideas off. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Hilton definitely doesn't. But feel free to jump in the community. We're all here to help you and support you, mate. So please do. Hooterton, every time Proper Chuff says his catchphrase, you should buy a Great Western Tank Engine. 100% agree. If we get round to it, he might get all of the Pannier tanks. We can cross our fingers.
That's absolutely not going to happen. I'll tell you that right now.
He's about to get rid of one of his 2. I want to say 2 or 3 Great Western locomotives.
So, I mean, if we count diesels, no. I have 2 Great Western steamers, and one of them is Hogwarts Castle. So, I don't think that really counts.
No, not as Hogwarts. It doesn't. we don't associate with that.
I'll get a nameplate change. We'll call it Alton Hall, and you guys can be happy. But it will still be red, okay?
Oh, that's fine. Red I can deal with.
As preserved now.
Yes, exactly.
As preserved.
It's as preserved. Fantastic. Aaron, I was bunking off work during that voice. Yeah. Well, as you always are, it seems. Whenever you're talking to me, you seem to be off work. Last comment here. Before we get into things, there is a massive amount of interest in the hobby. I don't think it is, though, through the traditional channels. Exactly, which is where YouTube and Discord and other things like that, I think, are starting to come into their own, which is fantastic. Anyway, we're going to shake things up a bit. I'm going to talk about a bit of news this week. But we're gonna let Rob go first because I'm evil like that. Rob, what's happening in the O gauge or 7mm world these days?
I have a script.
There you go, Sam. Rob's your man. He'll help you with the script.
Well, in fairness, in terms of releases and announcements, it's been extremely light. As I'm sure the Engage community can also agree, it's been rather quiet, apart from Double O. But Rails of Sheffield, other stores are available, and sometimes cheaper. Have a great deal on at the moment for a Dapol Terrier and 3 Stradley coaches for £400 with O-Gauge.
Nice. Great
deal. No, that's a blooming good deal because the Terriers were probably 200 and the coaches are worth about 110 each by themselves. So if you want to get into O-Gauge, now's the time.
Okay.
I may be getting one if my car passes its MOT at the end of the month. If it doesn't, then my money will be going on the Volvo. Sticking with Rails, their exclusive Dapol Hunslet Austerity has come into stock, and that is the War Department Warrington. That is available for £270 DC or £400 DCC sound fitted. Go and get them because they are awesome looking locomotives. And something very different this week, Modeloo have released some brand new figures crew figures for the Class 08 and the upcoming Dapol Class 66. I'm thinking they know something we don't. So, is it on the horizon? How big is that thing going to be? It's going to be awesome. They've also released figures for the Haljan GWR AEC rail car as well, but that's not as important as the Class 66 because that's a massive move.
Rob.
And then, yes.
Did you call it Modeloo?
Yes, I was about.
Model U.
Isn't it like I've heard some people say Model U, and George Williamson says Modeli because it's Welsh.
Oh.
Welsh people.
It's James. Put a poll up.
Yeah.
James, put a poll up. Is it Model U or Modeloo? But just make it the same answer, and yes is the only option.
I can't do it.
Yeah, but the same thing said to Haljan, didn't it? How do you pronounce that?
I can't do it. Phil, can you figure out how to do a poll? Because I can't do it for some reason because I'm not actually in the chat. I'm using a widget. I have to figure this out. Or just type in the chat. Do you think it's Model U, Modeloo, or Modeli? Because Welsh.
I'm going to go with Model U because no one outside of Wales is going to know that's how it's pronounced.
Yes, but it's like saying Hellion or Heljan, or Dapol or Dapol. Yeah,
I guess it's up for depending on how you've been told how it's said, I suppose, or how it reads to you. But moving on to the next topic. Corgi. That's a name that I haven't said in the news in regards to O-Gauge. They've got some road vehicles due. I know it's not as exciting as locomotives, but come on, give me a break. You've got Ford Escort Cosworth, Capris, and transit vans in O-Gauge. And that's pretty much it.
That's actually very cool, though,
yeah.
Honestly, because you know that they're going to be very, very nice.
I've got a Corgi TNT transit van around there, and it's a perfect size. And it's 1 in 43 rather than 1 in 43.5, but you're not going to notice that 0.5 difference.
Cool.
So it seems like.
Go on, over to you, mate.
Sorry?
Over to you, mate.
So just a quick one. So 2 things. It seems like Model U is the accepted vernacular. But I'm Welsh and I don't agree. Modeli, pronounced Modeli. I've always thought it was Model U. Yes, I think everybody knows it as Model U. So I'm just going off the multiple things I heard. Anyway.
In your face.
Anyway, for Double O, there is I would say there's a considerable bit. Should we go from the least noteworthy to the most noteworthy?
Absolutely.
So least
noteworthy.
So Hornby have produced decorated samples of various wagons that they've got coming. Great Western Horse Box. some tankers, a Father's Day wagon, which is horrendously not overpriced. It's only £17.99 at the recommended retail price, so probably about 15 quid at your retailers, which isn't terrible for I think it's a 5-plank over wagon. And then they've also got their Rail 220 their Hornby wagon that they do every year, which is a stupidly long van that doesn't fit on anyone's layout from the 1960s back. Anyway, so yeah, that's from Hornby.
I don't care.
Then I would say the next noteworthy would be Bachmann Trains USA. Now I'm mentioning USA because we have some international modelers, and I think we need to start incorporating some international news coming in. Have announced that they are...
You mad, James?
There is method to my
Did
madness.
you have to start reporting on Markland?
No, there is method to my madness. They are doing announcements on the 17th of March, and it is highly anticipated that they will be doing some new toolings of some 009 trains with faces, which will be very good for 009 modelers that want the chassis. So keep an eye out for that. We've got past that ticket. I hate to say it, but the next exciting thing is Dapol's 28XX update. So they sent out a very detailed update of all the specifications that they're going to be doing. They have also said that there is a price increase, which is a little bit disconcerting, but what can you do? Dapol 28XX. It's deleted my thing, which sucks. But anyway, so they've updated the specs on it, and I was prepared, but my phone decided to delete the website. So take my word for it. Go look at Dapol's website. It looks freaking awesome. Not gonna lie, I might pre-order a second one. I really might pre-order.
It's been a long time coming to that locomotive.
It's been a long time. Don't get me wrong. The Hornby tooling is nice. You know, with the updated tender connection. I've got
yawning.
Yeah, don't yawn. Don't yawn. We're only just starting. The Hornby tooling is nice, but having the oil-fired versions, and other such, it's needed. So yeah. Now, Hornby teased a few weeks ago that they were going to be revealing a Railway 200 livery of a Class 395, or I don't remember. Did they tell us that it was a Class 395? Because I honestly don't remember. But either way, they had this whole thing with a red sheet over it, Railway 200, blah blah blah, and it was in conjunction with a real life multiple unit that was going to be rolled out in a new livery later this year. It was underwhelming, to say the least. So it is a southeastern Class 395 in a relatively okay looking blue livery with a sticker on it. All of the hype for a sticker. Now I was reading some forum posts, and I was reading some Facebook posts and other places today, and a lot of people were saying that it's better than we were expected. But yeah, I don't know why either. Spring. Maybe it's me. I don't know. We're working on it. We've got a microphone solution coming up. Don't worry. But anyway, a lot of people were expecting it to have a tiny thing in the corner. No, it's an entire window. That's the reveal, is that there is a sticker on a window. There you go. So that was a bit underwhelming. Maybe we should have started with that.
Well done, Hornby.
Yes. But the last thing that is coming, and I think a lot of people are a bit happy about this, regardless of whether you model there or not. Irish Railway Model, or Curascale's sister company, have announced a GSWR 800 class, or the B1A, also known as the High Queens. Now, I don't know about you two, but I think it looks absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, it does look very nice.
Yeah. I believe it's O that they've announced it in, not HO. But considering the Irish loading gauge is wider, I'll be interested to see how that comes out. Because I believe it's 5'3" Irish loading gauge. If I remember their announcement video correctly. Somebody in the chat, Google that quickly, just so I'm not talking out my ass. But I believe it's 5'3", or at least it was. But it looks really good. The prices are a bit up there, but I think all prices are going up at the moment. So yeah, that's fine. Not really much else I can say about it. There's a lot of there's a lot of details on it. I didn't look too much into it because it's completely out of my modelling range, and I'm never going to be buying it anyway. So there's that. AG Modelling is saying
all one locomotive, that is.
Yes. It looks really good. I honestly looked at it and I thought I want to buy it to tear it apart and paint it green. But so that's my set of news, and I think that's the rest of our news. But I see that Alex G Modelling has mentioned the You Forgot Revolution's announcement and then unannouncement. Have we missed something? Does anybody know?
It was a Revolution announcement. Yeah,
it was a Revolution announcement. Do we know what it was before it was removed? Did they do a?
I know there was. They did a Tube London Underground.
This is the battery thing.
Battery car, the battery car.
Yeah. Okay.
That's probably about just.
I don't know if
the Irish Queen, isn't it?
I don't know if they took it away and then, but I did see it. Definitely. Right, I don't know if they took it back and decided not to make any news about it, but it looked cool. I mean,
it looked great.
Revolution are amazing in my opinion. I only have one of their products, but bloody hell, it's nice.
I will be getting their shunter. that little shunter that was announced. I will be getting it. It looks fantastic. Alex G. Yeah, Revolution announced a London Underground battery loco, but they were told someone else has already got the license, apparently. Oh,
what?
That's not good.
That's not.
How do you get that far?
Well, that tells me Rapido. Who else?
No, you know who that is.
It's Bachmann.
I think ESP and Bachmann stuff. Yeah, it's got to be. Absolutely.
Well, then we will never. Yeah,
I think that's ridiculous.
So there you go.
Actually, those poor guys.
Watch for the summer announcement. Bachmann EFE. It will be EFE rail, 100%. As Alex, you're saying, it'll be EFE rail. There you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there you go. So, if there's any news that we have missed, as usual, please let us know. Join the Discord. Let us know in the Discord. We can get some of that posted out so the rest of the community can hear about it. A few exciting bits coming from all around, I'd say, lads. What do you think?
When's the summer announcement for Bachmann due?
Oh, God knows. Summer. June, probably.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
I'm hoping that it'll be NG7 heavy myself, not because I want to waste my money on it, but because I think it needs to be grown, and I think they need to hit the ground running, like we've said previously.
You want to waste my money on it?
I want to waste your money on it, exactly.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no. What point is there in having you doing something completely different to the both of us, that if we can't peer pressure you into doing stuff that we want?
There's a very
just live vicariously through you.
You can peer pressure me into getting at the moment. So.
Fantastic. Okay, so the main segment and the main topic of today's stream is: what are the latest hits and misses in the model railway world? Now, I don't know about you two, but I was looking at scenery that had been released from major companies. I was looking at wagons that had been released from major companies, trying to figure out what good things and bad things have come out in the last 5 or 6 years. I know we agreed 5 years, but honestly, I really wanted to include 2 models, and I had to push it back a little bit to try see if I could, and I still couldn't. So there you go.
Can I get 6 years then?
We will see. Depends on how desperate we get.
It's the bread and butter. It could make or break my list. Genuinely.
What do you think, Hilton? Should we let
him do it. He's so excited about it. He's fine. So excited.
In that case, you could start us off. So we're gonna go Rob, Hilton, myself. Rob, pick one of your models, whether it's...
So we're starting with worst or the best?
You start us off with hits or misses. Make your case. For one locomotive, make your case first, and we'll go from there.
Right. Since you just opened that door for me, all the O-Gauge collectors in here will know immediately why I'm so desperate to include this in this list. And right now I'm going to pull one out before I say the name. The Captain's Class A3, A4s in O-Gauge.
I knew that was coming, but I didn't think it was... I thought it was 5 years ago, but I didn't know it was more than 5 years ago.
2009 is November 2019 they were released.
Oh wow, okay. That's
so I just missed out on that 5 years.
What makes it a bad locomotive?
Pretty much everything. The valve gear, the plastic gears inside. Is Tom on here?
He is around, yes.
Because he will vouch for what's wrong with his. But I've known the A4s especially to throw valve gear, just like Blue Peter did in Durham. If anybody knows that one, and they are just abysmal build quality. There's a reason why Helgen do not make them anymore. Here we go. Here's Matt's getting involved now in the chat.
I've just seen him pop up.
Yeah. They are known for being awful. It was to the point where Hatton's got a load back on recall, then tried to flog them for half the price and still couldn't sell them.
Oh.
And then they all ended up on eBay for less.
So if you want if you want an O-Gauge A4, you're saying buy it because it's cheap.
Buy kit built.
Buy kit built, right? Okay.
If you want reliability, buy a kit built one.
You don't hear often, do you?
Chance.
Like seriously, you don't often hear people saying
buy it and fix it yourself.
Oh yeah, fix it yourself.
Aaron, honestly, it's not LNER bashing. If you check on the internet and look up all the issues with the Helgen A3, A4s, you will see exactly why I'm mentioning it. Because their GWR offerings were not far off what they were. Because they had the Large Prairie and the Mogul that were released slightly before those, which were also dire. But anyway, I've got over that lump, and we've got Hattons out of the way. You know what? In the last 5 years, O-Gauge has been ridiculously good in quality and models that have just come straight out of the gate. I had to really work hard to think of a model which I could comfortably say in the last 5 years that was released was underwhelming or not great from the get-go, and that was the Dapol Class 121s.
Mm-hmm.
Purely because it was the Dapol's first bogie locomotive, and they've got a motor in each of the bogies, and they weren't very well synced. So as it started off, you'd see it dragging itself around the layout for a bit until it got into its stride, and then when it slowed down, the same would happen. And that's, in all honesty, that's all I can really put my finger on for worse things in O-Gauge in the last 5 years that I've actually had my personal experience with. And, I've had the locomotives coming onto the channel, which I've looked at for my friend. So they've got little issues like really fiddly detail parts, but all in all, they're good models.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, that's my shout. So it's over to you guys, I think, because I want to hear what you guys think of the double O-Gauge offerings.
All right, so we'll move over to Hilt. So, what are your misses for the last few years?
Oof. Oh, there's so many. It's Double O.
I know, right?
The floor is yours.
I'm curious to see if we've had similar thoughts.
Okay. Okay, where to begin? So I don't have a definitive list per se. I'm really just. I did say to you guys, I hadn't prepared a list.
Pulling out your ass.
But I do have thoughts on certain models. Yeah, basically. So chat, get involved because might need some backup here. First of all, let's talk about Helgen's dismal recent run of steam locomotives. I think
here we go.
Despite all the hype around the Tango or the retooled Tango, look, I don't own a Tango myself. It should be said that I don't personally own these models, but enough to know that Tango was this new tool Tango was not fantastic by any means. However, I can speak to the Night Owl. That was atrocious. I know that's not necessarily the last 5-6 years, but very disappointing overall. Great weight, but I realized that was all in the boiler. Ran poorly. If you've seen my video on it, you know exactly what's wrong with it. It just doesn't run correctly. And then we can move on to locos that I do own. KR models, unfortunately. Sorry, I know they're like the new kid on the block. It's not that I, want to bash them or anything, but I can't for the life of me fathom how the GT3 won Model of the Year in 2022. It boggles my mind, honestly. It's okay as a model. It's it's very plasticky. It doesn't feel like it's got a lot of well detailed parts. Feels very rushed and put together. Mine doesn't run particularly well. There's a lot of wheel slip. Doesn't feel very well balanced. I don't know how it won Model of the Year. I think it was because it was such a strange looking thing and so unique that people loved it. And I totally get that aspect of it, but I feel like the GT3 really, really fell down. For me, anyways, because I was quite excited about it. And then I think one that we can probably all agree on from KR models, even though none of us have it, is the leader.
Yep.
Everything seems to go on with the leader. From the terrible coal lump on the top of the boiler, I guess. The wheels, the unpainted parts, the skew. I mean, I've seen so many videos of guys opening theirs up. I've seen one person who's had a really decent leader. But most, I'd say 99% of the videos I've seen, they're absolutely not okay. It was a very, very poor project from KR, and it took them so long, and it felt like the final stretch was a rush out the door, and there was no quality control in these. I didn't like it. And I was keen on getting one until I started seeing the videos come out, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to give this one a miss.
Yeah, no, I think we can all agree.
It kind of makes you worried for the future projects, doesn't it?
Well, I was trying to think of you've got what the Big Bertha, I think, is their big one that has been their lead project for quite a while, and that thing has to be heavy. It's got to be a good shifter. It's supposed to be a banking locomotive. Now, if that can't push an express locomotive and 15 coaches up an incline, I will be disappointed with it. You can't advertise, you can't be making a model that is built for a purpose be absolute sucky. So yeah, watching with eyes wide open.
Completely agree.
They've got,
and the thing is, it's. Sorry, James.
No, it's just all I was saying is they've got a tank engine as well slated, right? The
Bellafron, yeah.
Which I was really looking forward to, and if the GT3 was any good and the leader was any good, I would have ordered one. but I don't think I want to waste my money. And I can see a lot of the community maybe thinking the same thing.
I think the sad thing is that KR are sort of the new kid on the block in many ways. I mean, they're one of these new sort of independent companies, and I want to support that. I mean, when I ordered my GT3, I was speaking to Keith Ravel himself. He was the guy who processed my order for me, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. I'm chatting to the guy that the company's named after. But yeah, unfortunately, if it's not there, and I should, in theory, absolutely love that company because they're making the weird one-off prototypes that I so very much enjoy. But it just seems like they're not doing them right. Yeah. So hard to love. Hard to love.
Yeah, no, I can completely understand that, and I'm right there with you. You know, I would love to support the little guy. I just wish they don't make the Great Western runoffs. Because they're
don't worry, Hornby will do that. It's fine.
Oh God. But their track record is not great. But I hope we are proven wrong. I really do hope that we are proven wrong, and I hope that their future releases moving forward make us eat our words. Let's say.
Absolutely, love to.
Big Bertha will be the teller, though, won't it? Because that's a locomotive that a lot of people want.
Yes.
I can't believe, though, Rob, as you say that, how many people I've seen in the comments of other videos saying, I'm so glad I didn't pre-order Big Bertha, or I'm cancelling my Big Bertha order. And that's very sad to see, obviously, because, you know, maybe third time's the charm with KR. Maybe they really pull it out of their hats, and it's an incredible locomotive, but I guess we'll wait and see.
So, does that cap off your list of misses?
No. I mean, we'll probably circle back on misses.
We can carry. I mean, Rob, do you have any more misses? I've got a few.
No. I'm just sit here and enjoy the chat.
Right. I'll continue. Should I continue with the few more 00 misses that I think we've tapped?
Yeah, go for it.
So, hitting right at the pinnacle of 5 years is my favourite locomotive, and this goes back to Hilton, what you were saying about Hellion not being able to make steam locomotives. It's the baby Pannier, the 1366. As much as they have absolutely nailed the look of it, the proportions of it, all the details, all the extra fitted parts, everything, it looks great. It has a great weight to it because obviously Hellion put that massive weight, you know, as you know with the Night Owl, they put a massive weight that encompasses the entirety of the motor, but the thing runs like a dog. It just runs like a dog that has been sick for many years and is on a drip and is carrying around a cradle. Like, I don't know if it's the pickups, I don't know if it's just the motor just doesn't have enough torque or whatever it is, but even when it was working and it was on nice straight level track that had been freshly cleaned and freshly sorted, DC only, it still ran like dog. And I've heard many stories from many other people that their Hellion 1366s and the 1361s, the saddle tank as well, have both been very terrible models. You could argue the 1361 is another one that was going to be on my list. Is also from KR Models, I believe. They also did their own version, and again, it's dog. Now you can argue that 5-6 years ago, trying to make small 6-wheeled or 4-wheeled tank locomotives was seen as difficult because they were trying to stick huge motors without flywheels and anything like that in there. But now you see companies like Rapido being able to get all that weight plus stay alive, things like that in there. It makes you wonder what would have happened if they just waited. So what can you do? Yes, Hellion do much better at diesels. So yeah, there you are. So I've got a 3 for 1 there. You've got the Hellion 1366 and it's the DJM and the Hellion 1361 saddle tanks. we've already mentioned the KR leader. Now, I didn't like this instantly. I instantly saw it and I went, "What the frick?" I'm going to be very honest here, and a lot of people are going to look at me and go, and Aaron is going to look at me and go, "Well, you don't like SR anyway, so that explains a lot." I did not know the thing existed until I saw KR announce it. And I looked at it and went, who looked at American cab forward locomotives and thought that would be a good idea in the UK? Like, genuinely. And then, of course, it was bullied. And I'm not going to get into that because that will just go down an entire can of worms. But, Hilton, you were right. The coal load, the bogies, the lift on the front of it, everything about it just looked
the
janky.
Tilt. I mean, the tilt as well. In Laurie's photos, I saw that it was like sideways, and I was like, what's going on with this model?
I just don't
Did you guys know it's the precursor to the Pendolino?
Sorry?
Did you guys not know it's the precursor to the Pendolino?
I mean, you could have fooled me, mate. You could have fooled me.
Steam tilt. Steam tilt.
But I think that was the thing that got me the most, honestly.
Sure.
So I don't get it. I have to call out as well Hornby's entire Beatles range. I have to call I'm sorry, I have to call out the entire Beatles range instantly. I know the rest we don't like the Hornby bash because, you know, we need to cut Hornby some slack. They've had a rough few years and we're hoping to see them rise up a little bit post Simon Kohler, but that whatever the steampunk and then the Beatles era was just an absolute, what were they thinking? So I class the entire range as a
completely agree.
Their sales figures apparently say completely different. Apparently their sales
that's
figures
just Tom's
of the Beatles range, that's very possible. So I just
everyone in Liverpool has a Beatles set.
That's it. They're just in their cabinets, on their mantelpieces. It's just there. And then the last proper dog water release I have is probably not going to be a surprise to any of my viewers. But it's this.
James Gin.
It's James Gin. I
knew that was going to turn up.
No, it's not just the James Gin wagons. I think the limited edition stuff that they have been doing recently that costs twice as much, and I think there's 3 or 4 of them that they've done in the last 2 or 3 years, and all of them have had molding issues or something like that, and it's just been the same 10 quid chassis and body that they've hiked up the price and sold on, and they caught me with it, and I accept that I was caught with it, and I like the look of the model and it will run on my layout, and I've accepted defeat, but I won't be catfished into it again. So yeah, I think that for me are my top misses. Now there's probably a few more, but we want to hear from you guys, so we want to hear what your misses are.
There's so many comments we have to catch up on.
Yeah. So well, I want to expressly point out one of the misses that I'm very keen on understanding how many people are having the same issue. So for those of you that don't follow Hooterton Model Railway on Instagram, first, I implore you to follow him on Instagram and on YouTube. His running sessions are like therapy to me when I'm working. Just having them in the background, it's really, really nice to have just running sessions. So please go and give him a follow and a subscribe on YouTube. No shameless plug here.
He's a lovely guy as well.
And you're an absolutely lovely guy to talk to. I really enjoy our conversations. But he spent the best part of 250 odd quid, I believe it was, on the newly tooled Hornby King, which I almost bought brand new. Before I bought King James I. I thought, no, I'll spend the money and I'll spend 200 and something odd quid on a 21 pin new tooled locomotive and I'll rename it, renumber it, whatever. And the issues that he has had and the issues that I've seen other people having regarding the motor noise and some other running issues, but mostly the motor noise, have really pushed me back on it. But mainly because of the interaction between retailer and customer.
I saw that too. That was rough.
I think it's absolutely diabolical, and I think that retailers should be owning up to this kind of thing and shouldn't be trying to take things on the chin. So I'm sorry for what you had to go through with. I'm happy that it's now been sorted. He did type in the chat that they have now owned up. The retailer in question has now owned up and is accepting the return. So I'm really glad to hear that. But from what I hear, it's not an isolated issue. It seems that a lot of the current batch are having similar sorts of motor issues where the sound comes and goes, or there's issues with torque, or there's issues with the gearing, or something like that. So I'm glad I got round it, honestly. So yeah, fingers crossed you get yourself sorted and you can get yourself a decent model, or at least your money back, to try and find something else that will be on our good locos list in a few minutes. Let's have a look. So going way back here, so we've got Phil said the Hornby B17-5 was a hit, sold out pretty much everywhere, good model too, and it's die-cast spoiler. Honestly, that's one of my favorite non-Great Western locomotives is the B17. I really like them, like the real thing and the model. I think they're great. I think they're nice little punchers. So there, I said it.
You heard it here first.
Harry at Yorkshire says Hornby's Large Prairie has to be a winner, surely. See, I originally, give it 2 years ago, I would have originally said that Dapol's Large Prairie would have pipped it to the post. But I hear batch 2, or at least batch 1 of the Hornby, the Dapol Large Prairies, actually have some running issues with something to do with the pony truck lifting the entire thing, or shorting the entire thing, which I don't think the Hornby one has. So when I started hearing about that and hearing the in batch 2 they had fixed some issue like that, then the Hornby one went right up in my list. I really like the older tooling, and I really do want to pick up the newer one as well. So that one has my my seal of approval. We've mentioned the King. Matt's Maritime. Yes, yes, my A3 is terrible and will be replaced with the brass one in time. Your pockets are deeper than mine. Of course. Yeah, this goes back to I think this is the A3 in particular you were talking about, Rob, that was a bit dodgy.
Yeah. So basically both the same loco with different body shells, the A3 and the A4 in O gauge is exactly the same, with different body shells.
I mean, no, I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to do that right now. We're not going to start that.
Almost got the trap set then, didn't I?
Almost got there.
We're not an hour in, Rob. Come on.
No. We got 5 minutes, and then I can start bashing.
Should we get over the good ones before we start bashing everybody?
Yeah, we'll do that first. Hilton, what whiskey are you talking for tonight?
I responded to Spring Cottage in the comments, but if you're interested, we're turning this into a whiskey live stream. It's Loch Lomond.
Nice.
And James's rum. But that's the difference between us LNER fans and the Great Western guys. They're drinking rum.
No.
We're having whiskey.
I don't have
the closest offer is paint.
He's drinking white. He's going back to
paint.
He's going back to the classroom and they've run out of glue.
Oh no, Rob. Damn it.
God darn it. Oh, Jesus. Harry again. Biggest misses this year is the Hornby Black Prince 9F. Stunning model, but it's been sent back for the 3rd time.
Shame, Harry. I feel really bad for you, dude. I know you've had such a problem with that loco. And the thing is, I feel like the new 9F, which obviously the Black Prince is a pretty decent 9F. I just feel like you've you've had a proper dud.
I think, yeah, it sounds like you might have got one of the lemons. A particular YouTuber would have probably got the same model. We'll leave that there.
We will not elaborate any further.
No, we're not going anyone further. It's kind of so train guy. It's kind of sad as it would have been also the 00 scale leader. Yes, I completely agree with you. Honestly, if they'd done it right, it would have been a head turner. You know,
absolutely.
It's a class 66 with coal. Essentially,
but that may be a bit extreme. But okay, fair point.
Tell me, it doesn't look like a steampunk class 66.
That's exactly.
You're any other way now.
You're not wrong at all. I completely agree with it, but I just feel like for the amount of time that KR spent developing that model, I felt like they just forgot about it for like 2 years, and they were like, "Oh wait, we're supposed to release the leader. Oh, here's the proto. Let's send it out," kind of thing. And it was just, what happened, guys?
Oh, damn! It's supposed to be out tomorrow.
Yes.
God,
send it to China quickly.
Get rid of it. Yes, that's exactly what I imagine happened. No disrespect to KR models, but I 100% think that someone was going through their emails one day and went, "Guys, does anybody remember this project we said was coming out at some point? Have we done anything with it?" And I know this because I do this all the fucking time.
James,
that's the first F-bomb of the live stream.
I've had a hard week.
We're allowed one.
We're allowed one. Everybody gets one. Let's move on before I get told off by YouTube.
It's okay, we don't have 1,000 subscribers or watch hours, so swear away until we reach 1,000. Then we can go get monetized. Yay!
Pedantic Mongrel says, "I hope you're not bashing the stuff I've been working on. So far, none of them have come up, so you may be safe." Although
No, we haven't mentioned them yet.
I almost thought about mentioning one locomotive, but I'm not going to. And you can all speculate in the chat. No.
What is it?
You can all speculate in the chat the model that I am thinking of. I will be very interested I will reveal at the end of the stream the model that I was thinking of and my reasons as to why I think it was a miss. Or could have been a miss.
I would also like that particular company to release something in 7mm, please.
Yes. Pedantic Mongrel, if you could push the 7mm avenue, that would really, really make Rob's wallet cry.
It would. It really would. Especially if it's narrow gauge.
Matt's Maritime has an interesting thought. I think you might find that batches that finish around the time China is coming to Lunar New Year, you might have to be careful, as I think factories may start rushing. That is a very good point. Something to consider for future launches if there are launches due to come out around Chinese New Year. Very good point. Did not actually think of that. Let's try and get through a few of these. I can't see anyone. Aaron is saying the LNER U1 Garrett banked coal trains. Yes, it did, but the model isn't out yet, so we can't include it in this list. Sorry. Although I'm really looking forward to it.
Is it worth £500 though?
I don't think it's worth unless it's made of solid freaking magnesium. I don't think it's worth it. It better be heavy. That's a huge hit we haven't got there. Okay, so I think we're getting into the huge hits comments. I'm going to ignore Aaron commenting on my mention of Bulliards. The last one I'm going to read out here is, James, I hear the Kerno GWR steam rail motor was a dog. I have heard completely different. I've heard that a lot of Great Western modelers and a lot of people that have bought them, because they sold out very quickly, and a lot of people have been very happy with the DC, the DCC fitted, and the sound fitted versions as well. I've heard a few complaints of some of because it's got it's like a coffee pot. You know, it's got the motor is sitting upright in the front axle, and I've heard a few people say that has been a bit iffy when moving it around, and there's a few complications of getting the body off to try and fit people in it. But with a locomotive coach that is that intricate, you have to expect that it's going to be difficult to take the body off. You just have to expect it. So I accept that as acceptable loss on the quality of the model, personally. But I've heard nothing but good about it. If you've heard anything different, please let us know, honestly. Avoid at all costs, blah blah blah. I'm missing so many of these things because the chat is going absolutely nuts while I'm reading these. You guys are absolutely awesome.
Today.
Yeah, can you guys stop so I can catch up and we can get carry on? Please don't.
SBJ is in the chat.
SBJ is in
Sam,
the chat.
hello. Good evening. Welcome.
How do you?
Most of us are on IPA. I wish I was on IPA.
He's just checking in on us, making sure we're not on Spotify yet.
Not yet, mate. Not yet.
We're after you guys. Not really. Are we joking? No.
Anyway,
we come out on Thursdays, mate. We're not your rivals.
No, we're not. We haven't got there yet. Watching you. We've hit the hour mark. I think it's a good time, Rob. What are your 7mm hits for the last few years?
Well, my first one. No, anybody's going to be able to guess this one, even though it hasn't been on my channel yet, because I'm holding that for a very special occasion. The Lionheart Manning Wardle, the narrow gauge one. It's absolutely stunning. It's currently running around my layout, and it's the only engine that doesn't stall, and it just carries on. It doesn't even make a noise when it hasn't got any sound on it. It's just probably the best locomotive I've ever bought, and that's saying something. There you go. It's coming around behind me now.
It's
a stunner. It's a stunner.
I am green with envy. I really am. It makes me want to do an MG7 outdoor garden railway. Honestly, it really does.
It just runs so well, and it's ran like that straight out of the box as well. But staying on the Lionheart ground as well, I'm going to say the Prairie as well. That is probably the best O-gauge locomotive I've ever had in my hand. And I've had, you guys who follow me on my channel know how many O-gauge locomotives I've had on this layout. And that Prairie is something it's miles above everything else. The detail, the running qualities, the factory sounds, they're all absolutely stunning. And those I class these two locomotives as the pinnacle of 7mm steam locomotive. In regards to like diesels and stuff, I would highly recommend the Halogen 47 because I loved that thing. I loved doing the video on that as well, and I was operating that for the majority of the time I was at the exhibition with the club layout as well. It's so noisy. It was drowning out the sound layout next to us at the exhibition. It was brilliant.
And Rob, the EC Pullmans that you posted today, those were amazing. Amazing.
Rolling stock wise, they are the best looking pieces of rolling stock I've ever seen in my life.
They're absolutely
I'm going to go around the whim and say these look better than some real coaches I've actually been in. And as I said in the video, the only thing that lets them down is the lack of sprung buffers. And in O gauge, that matters. That matters, right? But yeah, and until I get my hands on an AS Clark Black 5, I can't put that in this list because I haven't had any experience with it. But I've heard it's absolutely amazing. Mm-hmm. But at the moment, yeah, I'd say those three pieces of stock themselves are my top my top O gauge 7mm, whatever you want to call it, in the last 5 years.
Yeah, fair. No, fair. Good ones.
Very fair.
Oh, hang on. One more honourable mention. All of the Bachmann's narrow gauge stuff in 7mm is also there as well.
Really, all of it?
all of it. It's all fantastic. All of the quarry Hunslets, all the wagons, the buildings are amazing. I just think Bachmann have just gone out and have just knocked out the ballpark on their first 7mm models.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Good to know. Well, there you go. That's quite high praise for NG7, I think. Which honestly, I think is earned. Honestly, I think the hype and the love for NG7 is completely earned across.
And I hope it keeps growing.
And I really hope it does. I really hope it does.
Me too. Please, someone.
Fantastic. Right, Hill. Do you want to start us off? Because I think it's honestly, I can say for Double O, I had it when we said originally that we should choose like a few, like 4 or 5. I really struggled to pick just 5 because we've had some really good. We've had some really good locomotives. Let alone
we really
rolling
have.
Stock.
We really have. We really have. I completely agree with you.
Like we have been absolutely stunned for choice, I would say.
Sure. Yeah, we've had some lemons there too, obviously, which we discussed. But I think my first is going to be the most obvious one. We'll get it out the way. I know Dan's in the chat and he knows that I love it so much. I think most people, anyone who's seen my video knows that I'm absolutely obsessed with it. The Rapido Highland Railway Jones Goods is probably the best detailed runner sound steam locomotive that I currently own. It is absolutely phenomenal. Like, genuinely, I think the only problem I've ever had with it is just coupling the tender to the loco. The Jones Goods is like the thing is you can't even, the detail on it is so crazy that like I only started noticing things when I was editing and like looking at my close-up shots, and I was like, oh, somebody painted that. That's down there. Like, and I was like, who does that? Who, like, it is crazy beautiful. Just as a looker. And then running performance, just the quality of the build, everything about the Jones Goods is exceptional. And I'm not saying that because I'm sitting here sipping a whiskey and I model Scottish, but it is genuinely super amazing. And I'm super sad that I missed out on picking up a Sterling single. I just missed it. Like, I was like kind of like working out paychecks and I was like, oh, can I do it now? And then I was like, no, it's Christmas. I gotta get gifts with the family, and Annie, she'll be really pissed off if I have nothing for her under the tree on the day. Bloody Christmas. So I'm bummed I missed out on the Sterling single, but very happy with the Jones Goods. I mean, that is if you look at the price points for a sound fitted locomotive like that, I mean, I don't think you can beat it. Really special. Really special. Okay, next I have this one's going to be a little bit controversial. I should probably take a big sip of whiskey.
The bullied leader.
No,
we just no. This one's going to be a little spicy. Is Hornby's new Black 5? I really like this logo, and I know
you got a good one. You loved it, didn't you?
Yeah, the first one you absolutely loved.
Yeah, absolutely. It's special. It really is special. It's really well detailed. It's well put together. It runs well. I think they were pretty hard done by a couple of reviews, and understandably so. They need to be called out if there are problems. But for the most part, I really do think that Hornby's Black 5 is. I'm not going to say it's the ultimate Black 5 like Simon Kohler had pitched it, but it certainly was one of the most impressive steam locos I've seen from them. I think the paintwork, I love the fact that Hornby are kind of heading in the direction where they're making the smoke boxes matte as opposed to the rest of the bodywork with that satin finish. It's just the detail overall on the Black 5 is really good.
I completely agree with you there.
Yeah.
Sorry to jump in. I completely agree with
you.
No. There was a lot of a fair few people had issues with their Black 5, and Hornby, credit to them, took it on the chin, took the models back, and sorted it out. And
absolutely.
I completely commend them for that, because they went, yep, okay, we had a boo-boo, we'll figure it out and we'll sort it. And then they've also said in that their latest batches that they've done some tweaking, they've made sure that tolerances were better, and I haven't heard any other issues since.
No.
Which
and I'm super
to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm super bummed that I missed out on Eric Tracy. I think that was a Locomotion Models exclusive or Rails exclusive. Mm-hmm. Super bummed, because that was like the one thing that I wanted to see when I went to the multi-auction was, and I did get to see it right behind it.
You'd have thought that would be an NYMR exclusive, really, wouldn't you?
I mean, have you been to the NYMR shop? It's like this tiny little shed above the railway. It's not exactly like a retail space, I wouldn't say. But yeah, it's possible. But like, yeah, I do think that I'm pretty upset that I kind of missed out on Eric Tracy, and I'm sure that the pricing for that particular model is going to go through the roof over the next couple of years.
I would love one.
Then
the new Black.
The next one I have is.
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. And you should get one. Honestly, get it in BR colors. And no. Totally agree. Another one also from Hornby that I think is highly underrated is, especially if you can get it at a good price. I will say that. That's perhaps maybe the tension point is their LMS Turbo Motive. I think the Turbo Motive is a really, really solid engine. With the die-cast body and chassis, really smooth running. Obviously, there's not some very intricate valve gear on the Turbo Motive, but for what it is, it's a spectacular model. Really, really is. This is like Hornby at their peak for me. Like they're, full die-cast, solid construction, almost feels like they're on the same level as Continental stuff with this kind of locomotive. I really, really like the Turbo Motive. And then I don't have a list. I'm just looking at my models above me. Yeah.
Carry
on. Obviously, I think we can't have this whole episode without mentioning a Curascale on some level.
No.
So I have their new Deltic, and that is incredible. So is their 66. Both of those are like mint models. I'm still okay. Well, I'll let you expand on that.
You carry on.
No. It's fine. And then I'm still waiting to get one of their 37s. Which I've got like 3 on pre-order for this year for the Scottish grouping that they're doing at the end of this year. And I can't wait to get my hands on some Curascale 37s, because I only have Bachmann 37s. And I'd like to compare the two. So that's my list.
Wow. Comprehensive list. I'm sorry, I'll say it now. I'm sorry to jump in on you. Just wanted to clarify that I completely agree.
No.
I completely agree with the Acura 66, and I'm calling it the Curascale 66 rather than the Hatton's 66 because it is an improved tooling.
Sure.
And I think that's better. The better place for me to start off is with the Acura 66. Now, I am not a diesel guy, and I will throw my hands up in the air and I will say, but I am warming to it, and I outside of our normal chat, the guys will attest that a few weeks ago I went on a little bit of a. Actually, there's some really nice diesel locomotives around.
Yeah. Yeah.
I spent a good few days going, guys, what the frick is this? This looks great. This is amazing. What is going on? Yes, the 37 was on that list, and I think the Curascale 37 as well. I'm jumping off, but I think the Curascale 37 is a class above itself. I think they've really outdone themselves with that. And honestly, I'm seriously contemplating getting one. Seriously contemplating it. Just to have it sit on the wall, honestly, because it looks so damn good.
I promise you. No, I think you'll love it.
But yeah, the Acura 66 or the Hattons 66. So the Hattons one was good. It was rated as a good model. Then I think Hornby came out with an updated one, which was better, and a lot of people were highly rating the Hornby model, which is really, and it runs very smoothly. I expect all diesels to run very well because they're huge. They've got a lot of space, and if you can't get one of those to run properly, you're doing something wrong. Then Acura scale
all-wheel pickup normally as well,
and all-wheel pickup usually, exactly. Then Acura scale came along and went, well, we'll make it a little bit better, and they took the detail button and dialed it up, and then they added some additional bits and additional features and the takeoff cab and all that stuff, and it just makes it so much better. So yeah, the Acura scale 66 is in there. I think somebody else mentioned this in the chat earlier. I can't remember who you are because it's so far up in the chat, but I agreed. The Hornby 5101 Large Prairie is up there on my hits for the last few years. Now, Hornby and Dapol announced their first batch of the Large Prairies exactly, pretty much like 2 months apart from each other, I think it was. And I think Hornby absolutely hit it out of the park. From all the stuff that I've seen, from all the reviews that I've seen and the forum posts and things like that, people haven't been having issues with them. They're detailed through the nose. They're accurate as well. So if you go onto RM Web or go on to Great Western Modelers, they are very, I don't want to say rivet countery, but they're very detailed in their analysis of you can find very detailed analysis of launches, and I look at it all the time to see what bit of information am I not aware of, what changes, what adaptations from locomotive to locomotive am I not aware of. And one of these things was the different bunker sizes on different prairies, things like that, and different lamp brackets in different places. It's all the same with a lot of stuff, and I think Hornby really hit it out of the park with their tooling range. But they also did it with the mechanism, which I think was absolutely fantastic. I've already mentioned the Hornby B17. I really like the B17. It will probably be the only. No, I'm not going to say it won't be the. I'm not going to say it will be the only LNER locomotive on my layout, but I will have a B17 at some point because they are.
Because you need a Flying Scotsman, right?
I told you. No, I said this. I said no, Rob. We have to feed them occasionally. I did say I will be getting a Flying Scotsman, and I have looked at one, and I am waiting for an agreement for a Flying Scotsman. Then I'm going to butcher it.
What?
Yes, I'm going to buy a Flying Scotsman in 1920s condition, and then I'm going to butcher it, and I'm going to record the whole thing.
Well, I have just unsubscribed from the little spin.
No, it's for a good cause. It's for a good cause, I assure you.
I doubt it.
You're going to make it into
butchering the Flying Scotsman.
No, I'm going to make it into Victor Wilde.
No, buy another A1. No, please. I mean A3.
No, it has to be an A1. It has to be 1926 condition. And
no, please don't do that.
There are three names. There are three names that come in 1926 condition. I had this discussion with Phil, and I believe it's Flying Scotsman. And I don't know the others because I don't know LNER. But there are three. So it'll be Flying Scotsman. Just for you lot. Anyway, a B17 will be coming.
I just feel like you've. I don't know. Everybody does like that. This is a Fallout thing. Everybody does like that.
That's perfectly fine by me.
while we're on the Scotsman front, Matt's Maritime and Rail, he was trying to convince me earlier to get a Scotsman and convert it into one of the locos from Scarborough Miniature Railway. You know, the ride-in diesel outline, steam outline diesels that they've got, they modelled on A1 Pacifics. He was trying to get me to do one of those for the narrow gauge.
I feel like Rob's easier to convince than James. Like, James is like hard set, like in like anti-Scotsman, you know.
Well, I just need to take out the coal in the tender and put a person in.
No.
No, you're the bad guy, James. You're the villain of this live stream. Let's just make this clear.
Let's settle this. No, let's not settle this. So, just to reiterate to you, there are two other choices, and Phil has greatly pointed them out. So there is also Great Northern and Hermit.
Absolutely. Great Northern's a good choice. Great choice.
So
Matt,
I
if
will
you
consider
happy,
it.
I'll do it.
I will consider it.
But you can buy Great Northern. You can buy Great Northern. You don't need to butcher a Scotsman to make Great Northern. Please stop it. This is awful. It's like murder.
We'll get there. James is a Westie, of course. He bashes Scotty. There were panniers in Scotland. There was a pannier in Scotland.
There were like two. Actually,
right, moving on.
Bill, who's in the chat? Sorry. Wait, one second. Bill, who's in the chat, was like, I think he pointed it out, and he was like, "You should get this." And I was like, "Okay." If I were to buy one Great Western logo, it would be that, like, one of those two panniers that was in Scotland. So
do it.
That's it.
You won't regret.
You can convert that one that I gave you into one of those.
No, I'm not doing that. That's yours.
It was yours now.
I know, but it's got sentimental value.
Aww.
Love you, Rob.
Fair enough.
Okay, moving on. So to reiterate, the B17, I like the look of it, but also it's the football class, and for some reason I like football. And there's a locomotive called Arsenal, and I support Arsenal. A lot of people are going to leave the chat now. Off you go. Bye.
Sorry about that.
Did you see during COVID that the new build Manchester United B17 got scrapped?
Yes, I did, and I rejoiced.
That was a proper shame. That was.
No, it was a shame. It really was. I do shame for that.
So the loco got scrapped, and the team got scrapped, and the table too. So I mean, it makes sense.
You know, it works perfectly. But we won't get into that. We talk motorsport in our Discord, not football, motorsport. We're getting off topic. So
I'm a Sunderland fan, so I literally have no place.
Okay. Let's not do that. Hilton, I think you can recently agree with this second to last hit of mine, and that is the Ruston 48DS in Double O by Hornby.
I'm reaching for mine right now. This thing is awesome.
They are
awesome.
They are so good.
Like, man, I love it.
I had them to bring up as well.
How Hornby managed to make this so good is beyond me.
No, it's proper.
It just works.
It really is proper.
What's the mechanism like in it?
Huh?
What's the mechanism like in it?
It's a tiny ass motor. Do you want me to take it? I'll take it apart while we're talking, and I'll show.
It's only because I'm thinking maybe it might make a good Tin Turtle chassis.
I'm going to take it apart right now, but it is an absolutely lovely bit of kit, and I think Hornby have absolutely knocked it out of the park. And then they continued it with their Peckets and other small form locomotives, and it started with this.
I personally love the resurgence of industrial locomotives that Hornby has, and other manufacturers have been on recently. I think it's great to see something outside of the big locomotive coming onto the market in all the scales. Engage need a 04 net.
I completely agree with you, Rob. Yep. I really do love the industrial thing, and I think it's very much meeting that balance where some people are thinking about TT because it's smaller or N because it's smaller, but they have a pre-existing collection, and they don't have the space. and here you are with these small industrial shunters and stuff, you can make a really decent little layout. Shout out to the Model Rail Replacement Podcast. They've got a whole episode on that.
They've got a very whole episode. So there you are, Rob.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a tiny as I've dropped a screw, tiny gearbox. I'm gonna get 10 cents, and that gives you a sort of proportion of how small that motor is.
That'd be perfect for a narrow gauge loco. That
this
those mini 040 mine locos that you get in the industrial railways.
Yes,
they'd make a perfect chassis for one of those, wouldn't it?
Actually, that's not a bad shout. There you are. That's not a bad shout.
Next project after this.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. I'm gonna surprise each and every one of you with my last offering.
Leader.
Can anybody get? I'm gonna wait for a second. Can anybody guess what my last offering is going to be?
Wait. I'm thinking. Hold on.
Take a moment. Chat, guys in the chat as well. Type out what you think my last hit offering is going to be. Now, bear in mind there are a lot of hits, but this is the one that I think is the highlight of the last few years.
James, do you have this loco?
No.
Ooh.
Oh, well then it changes things.
And it's available at the moment.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it might be sold out, but it's available.
Is it the Flying Scotsman?
It is the Flying Scotsman.
The HO one.
I know. It's the steam generator.
Yes, it is
Flying
the steam
Scotsman.
generator Flying Scotsman. Hands down, Hornby's best release in a while.
Okay.
I hope you lot are happy.
Honestly, I hate to admit it. I really do.
We won, boys. We won.
I really do hate to admit it. Because they've been perfecting the tooling for years, and they managed to get their premium tooling out with a new innovation that is affordable, and it just works.
Yeah.
It just works.
Yeah.
I mean, the sound profile might be a little bit off. You know, the sound profile could be a bit better. I've heard better recordings of Scotsman herself, and you know we've already mentioned how much we like the HM7000 system. There are a bit of nuances to the steam generator itself. You know, things like that. But honestly, I genuinely think
The chat is going wild.
It is my.
We're never going to hear the end of this now.
No, we're not. We're definitely not. But it is my top pick for the last few years.
James, you've let me down, mate. You've let me down.
Well, no. Now, hear me out. I have method to my madness.
You're gonna crash it. You're gonna bash it into a Great Bear.
Well, originally I was going to get. I was hoping that they would do an A1 version of it in 1926 livery.
Okay, get over it.
No, not at all. So originally I was hoping that. So they have a habit of doing, you know, like they did the Big Four, where they did a rebuilt castle. They did an A1. They did a Princess Coronation. They did a Bulliard locomotive of some sort for the Big Four. Oh no, it was like the tank. And I was really hoping that they'd do the steam generator, and they pulled out the W1 Hush Hush, and they pulled out the Flying Scotsman, and then they announced the Black 5. And I thought, this is it. We're going to get a Bulliard locomotive with steam generator, and we're going to get a Castle or a King. Yeah. We're going to get a new tooled Castle or King with steam generator. And I went, hallelujah, my money is sold. And it hasn't arrived yet.
I agree with you, James. I honestly thought... I mean, I know they announced the P2. I mean, P2's been out for a while, right?
Yes.
The Hush Hush was very unexpected for me. I guess they want to make the most of that tooling because there's only one loco. But I don't think it was the right direction. I do think as somebody mentioned earlier, what is that Lady of Legend? What's that class called again? Sorry, I don't know my Western Ninja. Saint. I honestly expected the Saint to have a steam generator. Given comparatively, it's like a Black 5 sort of size. They can clearly do that kind of tech inside that kind of boiler size. I thought we would get Saint in with a steam generator. So I'm surprised we didn't, because I think that would have been a huge. I look like Donald Trump. It would be huge. It would have been a huge thing for Hornby Great Western Modelers. It really would have. It would have been huge.
Hang on. Pedantic Mongrel says the Lady of Legend is coming with steam generator. Has that been officially announced?
It wasn't announced on the stream.
Because I haven't seen that.
Because if it is, I'm changing my pre-order.
But he's an industry insider, so he might.
Yeah. Source. Andy is saying source. So anyway, before we get carried away with James likes Flying Scotsman now, I want to reiterate. I am calling out the hit of the steam generator technology in ready-to-run form, not the Flying Scotsman model.
Is anybody hearing that backpedaling?
Yeah, absolutely.
Rob, you're supposed to be on my side.
You lost my respect when you said Scotsman the first time.
Okay, now Rob is the villain.
Yes,
Rob is the villain now, guys.
In fairness, right, I think Hornby couldn't go wrong next announcing a cathedral class with a smoke generator.
Now, see,
jeez, that would be huge.
That would be huge.
That would be
absolutely huge.
So, Pedantic has come back with, they showed off the void for it in the stream, and they wouldn't leave an empty smoke box for no reason. That could also explain why they haven't gone with a die-cast boiler for this, to save on space and weight, because they're planning on putting something inside it that will make up the difference.
They just want to sell you more Saints. Honestly, that's what they want you to do. They want you to buy a Lady of Legend, and then they want you to buy another one 2 years later with steam generator.
I mean, yes.
That's exactly what they do. They didn't. Isn't that what they did with the Black 5 though? They sold you the DCC sound or DC variant, then they released the smoke generator. It's their marketing strategy, isn't it?
The problem.
It works.
The problem is, guys, is it will work, because I've ordered Lord Palmer already. I didn't order Lady of Legend. I ordered Lord Palmer. If they announced Lady of Legend with steam generator, I'm sold. I'll be already getting it. So there we go. So there you are. There's the controversy. There's what.
So I think the thing is they really do need to step. I hate to say this. I'm also back. Like, I don't know. It's a controversial evening. What can I say? They need to step away from the LNER, and they need to focus on giving steam generators to the LMS, the Southern, and the Great Western. It's just for the sake of the hobby, honestly. Like, we need some Duchesses with steam generators. Let's get a new tooled, streamlined, LMS engine. Let's get, I don't know, like some spam cans with steam generators. And again, let's get some kings or castles with steam generators. Like, that would be amazing for everyone. And I can tell there are a couple guys here who have steam generators in the chat. They all know how it works. It doesn't work every single time, but it's not like it's broken. You just need to clear, usually, the chimney funnel. They are amazing, and they look so good. The only thing I need to say about it is Hornby need to fix HM7000 and get their chuff rate sorted.
Yes.
It doesn't sound right. Chuffs per rotation doesn't work. They need to fix that.
Completely agree.
Either that or allow these smoke generators to be bought separately so people can actually fit them to their own locos.
They'll never do that. They'll never ever do that. I promise you. That's like proprietary tech. Even though TRS trains have done that before, and it is the kind of like something that they've been doing, Hornby are not going to sell that separate.
No, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Bachmann or Rapido or even a Curascale pull up something very similar in the next year or so at a different level.
I think we need to have an innovations live stream at some
100%,
point and discuss,
100%.
because there's a lot of things I want to talk about.
Yeah, let's slate it in. You can run the next one, and we can talk about innovations.
No.
Okay, so I'm going to change a twist on this. We're not going to go back and look at comments specifically for this moment. I've got a list of locomotives that you guys have been writing down in the chat. So we've got Dinmore is saying the Class 50. Solid choice, honestly. It was a very solid hit. I would agree with you. Annie reciprocated on the Jones Goods and the Sterling Single, but also included the P-Class and the Barclay. Now, I think Akira Scale, having picked up some of those toolings, they did a really good job re-releasing the P-Class and the Andrew Barclay. I've heard nothing but good things about both of them.
I must say that the Barclay could have done with a bit of a rework. I know they were already in production by the time Akira Scale picked up the tooling, and they basically picked up all the orders for the Andrew Barclay. It is a little bit of a nightmare to fit DCC and just deal with the very small parts. I think it could have done with a bit of a rework. You could have had the Dakota fit through the smoke box door. But again, it's not on Akira Scale. Production had already started, so there's nothing they can change about it. And I actually did reach out to Akira Scale, and they said that in the future, if they do another release of them, they would look at a revised tooling of the Barclays. But as it stands, I think the Barclays are okay. I'm not blown away by them.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, I can understand that for sure. We've already discussed the ECT Black 5. I think we can all agree that is an absolute marvel of O-gauge engineering.
I can't wait to get one of those on my channel. I am looking to try and get one of the guys at the club to let me have it here for a week or so.
Yes. We can't wait.
Just to give it a look over. And I've also got a new arrival that they'll be coming to the channel soon. Will be a Lionheart 3MT as well.
Oh, fantastic! Looking forward to
James, I don't want to miss it because Annie also mentioned the Dapol Hawthorne Leslie, which I know was
that's on the list.
Very highly rated. Oh, okay, you got
it. No, I agree with you.
You're the host.
The Hawthorne Leslie is up there. Just for now. Watch out, you two. Just for now. Sam SBJ said the Hellion 33s. Yes, from what you've been saying and from what I've read from the Hellion 33s are definitely up there within the community. Don't own them myself.
Agreed.
But I hear they are fantastic models. Phil is saying the Akira Scale O-Gauge 48DS has been a hit. I've heard some really good things about that as well. If it's anything as good as the double O-Gauge model, I can say good on them. It looked great. Almost got me into O-Gauge, honestly. So yeah. Harry is saying the Hilton won't like this, or maybe won't like this. The Scott Rail Intercity HST.
Oh my god. That is the hardest HST to find. It is genuinely impossible. And when you do find it, the prices on the ScotRail HST are stupid, like 400, 500 pounds up. Like I just don't get it. But as someone modeling Scotland, I'd love to have one day. Harry, if you ever decide to let yours go, give me a shot, my friend.
Yeah, no, it's fair enough. It is a stunning model. Andy is pulling up the Akira Scale Manor and the Rapido Hunslet. So the Akira Scale Manor almost hit my list. But I have heard a few people give some knocks about it. I'm not saying it's the worst, and it is probably I think it earned Locomotive of the Year, if I remember correctly, and it was well deserving of it. But I have heard a few people that have had some, not lemons, but they've had some bad experiences with it, so it just got tipped. For me, the Rapido Hunslet, again, I've heard a lot of people say some good things about it, and I've heard a few people say some not so great things about it. Pedantic, not sure if you were included in that project. Forgive me for I have sinned. Tom is saying that he's really happy with his Rapido GER Class C53. Not something that I'm very familiar with. If you guys are, feel free to comment.
Wait, what? Sorry, I was just...
the Rapido GER Class C53.
I have nothing to say about that, I'm afraid.
Tom,
sorry, Dan.
Go in the chat. Go in the chat and start talking to us about it. And then the last one I have on my list is the 3B Class 101. Is from 3B Rail. Sorry, is the NRM Irish Railway Modeler Class 101, which I believe is the one. It's the latest release that IRM did, and I've heard nothing but good about it. So it's why I'm really hyped up to see what the GSWR 800s are going to be like.
Yeah. Once I finish the Scottish layout, I'll go visit Ireland, and then we'll do an Irish layout, and I'll tell you all about that.
Do it. Right. Right. Why don't we read through some comments? Hilt, I'm going to hand the reins over to you for 2 very big seconds. Why don't you go through some comments, and then when we get back, we can get some more hits and some misses from the chat.
What? Okay, fine. I'll take over.
I need to go. I'll be back in a second.
Okay, wait. I'm just trying to find out where were we? Where were we in the comments?
We were so far up, dude. Have fun. This is what chaos happens when I pay attention.
Can I do one for Engage?
Okay.
You carry on. Carry on.
Morwood has suggested the Class 50. I imagine it's Dapol. So Dapol Engage locomotives have come a long way in the last like 10 years. They used to be pretty awful, but I have heard that their practices regarding the motors and also like the driving trains are so much better than they used to be. So I'm not surprised by that in the slightest.
Yeah, fair.
I wish we could say more about it, but we haven't had experience with Engage.
No, like, I actually feel kind of bad because, like, this whole evening we've been talking about O and double O, and, like, the Engage representation here has been piss poor. Let's be honest. It's been pretty rubbish. So, guys, Engage, drop it in the comments if you are an Engage member. We're here to listen and give our... Well, we're here to read your comments and probably not say all that much about it.
Yeah, we'll if you could write a paragraph, that'd be very useful.
We're getting to the point where, I'm in the point in the comments where everyone's reacting to James's Flying Scotsman turnaround. And yes,
I mean, it was pretty shocking.
It was.
That took me aback. Yeah,
absolutely. Rustin's. Okay, Scotsman.
We're not forgetting about your Morwood. It's just that we have no idea about Engage. I mean, I could say one of the wins was the Sonic Models 56XX, which I've got, which I'm actually looking at the moment. I believe that was Sonic Models' first go at Engage, and mine is brilliant. It's a really good runner. I've had that going around that little Engage layout for hours, and it's just ran without any.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
And that's what you somehow you're supposed to be able to fit a 6-pin decoder in that thing. I don't know how.
Near impossible. Hey Rob, thoughts on Hornby making locos in experimental liveries? Sorry, had too much whiskey. Liveries from the 48 exchange period. There's always a market for those kind of liveries. If people are going to buy them, then why not make them? There's always people who are after quirky stuff, isn't there? I mean, Hilton likes his one-off, so some people are going to want their one-off liveries as well, aren't they? That's not that funny. It's not that funny. It's just the truth.
It's 100% the truth.
Dan says, I'd love to know Hilton's thoughts on the J36, given it was the breakthrough into Scottish steam from Hornby and is coming back in more liveries. So, interestingly enough, I actually bought a J36 about a week ago, and it's here. I haven't run it yet. I haven't even got a decoder for it yet, but I do love it. And I know that given I've been lately, I've spent a lot of time like kind of looking at what exactly my layout needs in terms of like, is this accurate for the West Highland lines? And the J36 is certainly one of them. And I'm very impressed with how it looks. I'll say that, but I don't know how it runs yet because I haven't put a decoder in it.
On the Engage front again, Morwood has come in out of left field with a I'm not sure pedantic mongrel model is going to particularly like this one. It's regarding the Rapido Class 28. In all fairness to Morwood, I think Dan would have agreed with it.
Oh, he would have.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Dan.
He's not dead.
He's not dead.
I know.
But yeah, Dan's had a few issues with his as well. It randomly cuts out on the corners, doesn't it? I believe he's told us, and he's had to fish it out of his tunnel many times. But yeah, I believe the locomotive itself looks absolutely brilliant. It's just running quality isn't quite there with it for some people.
Yeah,
I've heard similar from Dan.
And then you've got the Engage Society Hunslet, which Findra's constantly going on about at the moment. He loves that thing, and so does everybody else in the Discord whenever he puts it up, because those Hunslet shunters are just amazing, and I'm so glad you guys in that Double O are going to be experiencing that as well soon.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, I hear a lot of good things about that, the Engage Hunslet, which is why I'm very much looking forward to the Double O version. Are you guys? Do you want to carry on, or should I take back over?
Aaron, no, you can take over, but I will leave you with this. No, I'm glad. I'm so glad you're back. Aaron says, since Rob mentioned NG7, let's talk 009 too. And while you guys do that, I am going to go get myself lots of whiskey.
I mean, so we can talk 009 if you want. I think Are there any misses in the 009?
To be fair, I think Bachmann are kind of at the forefront of all the narrow gauge stuff at the moment. They don't seem to be able to miss particularly, because all I've heard that the odd issue they've had with the double fairleys. Because you remember when I mentioned about the Class 121 about the two motors? The double fairleys have got a similar system, and they have the same issue.
Yes,
but I believe they fixed that in later runs of it. But from what I've seen, Bachmann have done a wonderful job of the 009 stuff. So
SBJ is saying that their diesel is a miss. Is this diesel that you went and picked up? This bag, is this the Bagnall shunter?
Yeah.
That you managed to pick up. Is that a dud? Is it? But I've heard that the steam locomotives are absolutely phenomenal. I've heard about the double fairley, and I've heard that some people were saying that there were some issues, but otherwise I haven't heard anything terrible about it. So
elaborate.
Yeah. Come on, Sam. Tell us about the Bachmann Bachmann Bagnall. We want to know.
I thought he was talking about 00 for a second, and I was like, Sam, like, did you? What?
You just blanketed all of the
I feel like
diesel.
No, I realised it's NG7, sorry.
I'll tell you what, I'd love an NG7 diesel at some point. It'd be great, ready to run one. I'd love that.
Here we are. So, I saw really good reviews of the diesel, but it can't pull anything for Toffee.
Well, that's the problem, you're using Toffee with electric. But I imagine by the looks of it, it looks really light.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does. No, I completely agree with you there. Cab interior for Scarloey would be nice. Bachmann. I mean, we could say that having more detail would be a lovely thing, but what's the cost outlay for that? So Annie saying, "I'd love a good Class 17." So we're going into what ifs now. We're moving into what ifs. So Class 17. We could talk about the future for 10 minutes. We could talk about potential futures for 10 minutes.
Well, I'm going to have to go in a minute, lads, okay?
No, that's fine, mate. You drop off when you need to. But
I'll give it 2 and then I'll go downstairs, then I'll leave.
So, Aaron. So Aaron knows his 009. So the only miss I've seen is mostly in rolling stock. However, I hear Hellion 009 locomotives are dogs often. Well, what Hellion 009 locomotives?
There's a Manning Wardle. They made the Manning Wardle.
They did the Manning
in 009. Yeah, and then Lionheart made it bigger and made it so much better.
Okay.
Shame for Hellion they can't win. Like, shame. To be fair, Hellion, or I like to say Helgen. That's just me. I'm not Scandinavian. I'm South African, so Helgen. Or as Sam would say, South African.
Don't make us say it. Don't make us say it.
So, I really do think Helgen makes some pretty damn solid little diesels in 00.
Absolutely.
And spoiler alert, like I just picked up their 26, and man, am I impressed with that thing. It is so damn solid. Like, Helgen get a lot of bad flack for what they do, but their diesels are really solid, and I do think they should probably stay in their lane and just stick to diesels.
It's very possible.
I also love the fact that they've kind of approached a lot more unique locos like Lion and Falcon and Kestrel over the years. And I applaud them for that, because those are really unique and important locomotives that have kind of defined what British Rail's diesel history has been. So the fact that they've done that and they've done them solidly, I've not had a disappointing Helgen diesel. They're really, really decent.
That's some major props. Just a quick jump in. Paul Hornby, thank you very much for the sub. I don't know if anyone saw that alert that popped up. That's the second one we've ever had that's actually worked. I fixed it. So thank you very much for the sub.
Well done, James.
That really is appreciated. I think we're up to 78 or 79 subs now, which you guys are absolutely insane. So thank you very much for that.
80.
80. We just hit 80. Oh, look at that.
If you had to get that in 2 weeks, it's doing amazing.
We're doing. You guys are absolutely knocking it out.
Share it with your friends. Let's get to 100.
Yes, let's get to 100 as soon as possible. Right, so Hellion made the Manning Wardle and the L&B Baldwin. So I think we covered that. I think Hellion definitely need to stay in their lane. I think honestly, I think I completely agree with you. Don't try and make something else if you're very good at doing one thing.
Although. In their defense, the LMS Garrett that I have is awesome. Like, it does not skip a beat. It's really, really been solid.
Okay.
I know. Like, but most people, as far as I understand, haven't had issues with the LMS Garrett, and I do hope and pray that the U1 is going to be just as solid as the LMS one, because it, especially at that price point. Like, let's not mess around here. The Garrett was good. But I'm not saying Helgen should do Steam. Leave it at that. Maybe Rapido should tackle some Garretts.
Maybe. I mean, maybe we should see Rapido do some diesels. Some more.
Yeah.
Like some.
Maybe do some diesels.
I don't know why.
Give us a decent Class 40. Give us a decent Class 40. One that doesn't have a massive air gap between the body and the chassis, please. Thank you.
Okay, good. Annie says the Hellion 07 is a great model. I can't comment on the Hellion 07.
But I'm sure it is.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
I just want to, before I go, I just want to say, Annie, you're right on it there. Don't change it if it worked. Signed GWR.
Yeah.
Right, and now I'm going to go.
Rob, been a pleasure as always.
Thank you, everybody, for joining the stream. I'll catch you in Discord.
See you later, buddy. Have a good one.
Bye, Rob. Love you. Now we get into the dark
I was
hours.
going to say, now we can get into the dark hour. This is where Hilton and I come into our own. No, we're all right.
Let's cook.
New batch of Fairleys and Hunlets would be loved, Bachmann. I mean, would they really be loved? I don't know. I need to figure things out. Fimbra Engage, thank you very much for joining us, lad. It's been an absolute pleasure. We'll talk to you in the Discord. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not as well versed into 009 or NG7 as I'd like to be, but I am slowly getting there. I'm slowly ingratiating myself in it, because I think it's something that we need to have a bit more eyes on with. You know, it's ever growing scale. I think we need to have a little bit more visibility into it.
G16.
Well, yeah. The you know, I think did you see TRS's update on his 16.5 where he was like, yeah, I've had to make it like 11% bigger. Like, and I was just like, how what? It was big enough. But it still looks absolutely fantastic. It really does. And if someone can do that in 009, I will be sold. Honestly, I will be sold.
I mean, it's been done.
Yeah, but
it's
not
just,
in kit form.
Manufacturing it. Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you.
I genuinely think that will be an absolute marvel of engineering if they can get it right. I think there was a lot of complications with something like that. If anything, George Williams' videos on just the kit, which I believe he subsequently sold on. I think we mentioned this last time. You know, that says enough. If a 009 modeler has gone nope and moved it on.
I saw it on eBay actually. I had it on my watch list for a while, and I was like, it went for a fair bit of money. He did good on that, honestly.
Yes, did very good on that. So yeah, I don't know. I can't comment on any other 009 stuff. So someone make a TKH or a TKP, please. Now, Annie, correct me if I'm wrong. Are these Polish made locomotives? I'm not familiar. I'm familiar with a few bits of European stock, mostly German or Austrian or Slovak, of course. So please tell me, is that a Polish? Are they Polish classes? I've got a ScotRail 47 I'm painting into GWR green for someone. Oh, the heresy! I love it. It sounds great. It sounds great, Sam. Please give us updates, very detailed pictures. I want to see them all, especially when you're rubbing the ScotRail off it.
No, he's not going to do that. That's not what's going to happen.
So yeah, if the
Rapido a Q1.
Honestly,
now that's an idea.
That's
not a bad
idea.
Yeah.
I could see a Rapido Q1.
It's like the Hornby one's good, and I think everyone likes it. I always see it sell out wherever it pops up. But maybe it is a bit long in the tooth now. It's time for
old.
I mean, as it's not a particularly technical locomotive in the sense of like detail, but they could make it really nice. So yeah. All for that.
Yeah. Pedantic says GNR Q1. Yeah. You say pedantic, but SR raises middle finger. Now, pedantic. Normally, I would agree with you wholeheartedly, but when it comes to the Q1, I have a soft spot. Don't know why.
No, you know what? No, James, you know what? The Southern Railway gets way too much flack.
It does.
As my third favorite of the Big Four, it is totally underrated. The Southern Railway is awesome. Like they do have some really, really incredible locos. There you go. Sam just mentioned the schools class.
Yes,
schools are fantastic locos.
They are lovely locos.
Really, really fantastic. So I think the Southern
USA tanks.
Also, why? Yeah.
The USA.
Why is this chat? Okay, Gaz from Dapol, you're out. Take it easy, Gaz. Thanks for joining
Gaz.
us. Really do appreciate it, man.
I'd rather make pretty pre-grouping. If somebody could make an updated A1 and A1X Terrier in full-blown balls to the wall detail, I will be very, very, very happy. James is from Amazing Stoke. He's just a traitor. Yes, I am. Amazing Stoke. I would say born and bred and proud, but just born and bred. Not proud of it at all, mate. I need a King Arthur with 3 chimneys. I think we all need King Arthurs with 3 chimneys. Adams radials are lovely. They are lovely. It's a pity Oxford Rail did them dirty. I would think. Just been told the Jones went down well, so more stuff like that works. Let others do plain black boomer stuff. Well, so it's funny you say that. So I think we're now in we're now going to be in the point of I think a lot of manufacturers are going to start doing pre-grouping locomotives, which is why I mentioned things like the A1 and the A1X. I think we're in the time of the pre-grouping group era 2 locomotives. Now, I've just seen a comment. I'm going to keep presenting my boss to let the Glen happen. I will get down on my knees and kiss anyone's boots to make that happen. Honestly, I will. I would love to see a ready-to-run de Glen. Honestly would.
Was that I remember I actually did a video on that. That was that weird French thingy that the Great Western experimented with, and it looked better than most Great Western locos. So yeah, actually that would be cool.
I know, right? Yeah. That or the Armstrong goods, the Great Western Armstrong goods. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it now. It looks phenomenally nice. So
I'm googling it now.
The Armstrong goods. It is a really nice looking locomotive. Still rating for the Colas Rail HST. That's an interesting livery choice.
No, James. I'm sorry. I'm looking at this Armstrong goods. No. It looks like one of those ravens that looks like it's going to fall over the front of itself. No, exactly. Exactly. It's also got that stupid copper top.
Whoa, hang on. We were I get told off for bashing Flying Scotsman and LNER, but do not bash the copper tops. Oh,
that's a live stream in itself.
Aaron makes a very good point. So that's the de Glen is the French Atlantic. Pedantic. What about the Saint Atlantic? Do you think you could push that over the line and give Hornby a run for their money? A top of the line Saint, including the Atlantic version. That would be very interesting.
Yeah.
Phil is saying someone to make an LNER P1.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of the ones that's missing at this point, honestly. Proper freight, Mikado. Yeah. I like that idea. Definitely.
SAR, the paint next to great. It looks great on the wall next to my painting of the SAR 15F.
Oh, Dan's making me so proud this evening.
Yes.
Oh, love to see it. 15Fs are amazing. Really and I'd love it if somebody could pick up some South African locos. They really are. My gosh, we need to have a live stream on South African engines and models. My gosh.
I'll add it to the topics list.
Cool.
I will add it to the topics list. Yeah, I can't think of. I mean, I can think of plenty of things we need. Rob is back. He says we need a crane tank, definitely. Morewood is saying, I wish someone would make the Southwest Trains Class 455, especially that one that got repainted into BR Blue. Got so much attention. Yes, it absolutely did. It really did. I completely agree with that, and I think in N-Gauge and Double O, I think that would be very much a big hit. Annie is siding with me. We need a new Dean single. Now, I'm going to lean into the camera for this one.
Oh boy.
Somebody is doing a Caledonian single. Are they not, Hilton?
They sure are. Now, I can't wait. I was so excited.
I can't wait. I think a lot of people can't wait. It's going to be brilliant. But what I'm most intrigued to see is what other singles will they decide to do if it works.
Well, it is going to work because I think they've eliminated the problem with the single wheel drive, obviously, which, you know, maybe some rivet counters, if you will probably say that's probably not the right way to do it, but for a model, it makes complete sense. And given that they've just announced the counties, I mean, they're not scared of the Great Western, as nobody should be, you know. The Great Western Railway. Perhaps we will, James. Perhaps we will.
I really hope so. I really hope so, because it would be a way. There's only a few. I would say pre-grouping singles locomotives, and they've done they've done one. They're now doing another one. It makes complete sense for them to do the third. You know, they've done the Great Northern one, they've done the Cali one. It makes complete sense for them to then come across and say, we're now doing the Great Western Dean single. And if they don't, they've completely missed the mark. I'm going to openly say it. If it doesn't happen, they've missed the mark. So, watch this space. I'm calling it. I said this. I did it a week before with the county, and I'm calling it now. Give it 2 years, and there will be a Dean single on Rapido's list.
I'm sure you're right.
Dan is going to start.
I like the direction they're going in.
He's going to put some winky faces in the chat now just to shut me up. Annie is asking a question that if I answer, I will anger very, very many people.
What is that? Why isn't there a Southern single? But to be fair, you missed a point. She was like, can you imagine the South African Red Devil in HO?
Ooh.
Technically, Annie, it exists. It's out there. There's a company in George in the Western Cape of South Africa that does make them, but they're not very accurate. And I'm not afraid to go on record and say that, because they're actually incorrectly scaled, and they're ridiculously priced for what they are. But yes, I'd love a Red Devil. I think a 19D. I know the guys from Acura Scale would love to do a 19D, but there's no market for it. But anyways, it's another episode, another live stream. James, I'm just jumping in here. Sam says the 455 is just class 150s with 4 coaches instead of 4. We're so close.
Yes, we are. Yes,
we're so close.
Wait, hang on. With 4 coaches instead of
4.
4 coaches instead of 4. Are you sure we're the ones on the booze?
Yeah, well, it makes sense. 4 coaches instead of the 4 coaches. That helps.
It makes perfectly sense. Moving down. Cali was my idea. Push my boss until he saw my logic. Buy loads. Give my suggestions more sway. That's a good logic. You've already got one of us sold, so...
well done, Dan.
If Cali single works...
We have you to thank.
Yes, you do. Cali single works, Midland singles next. Very possible. In fact, I think inevitable. For GWR, I'm not sure if anyone's made a class 166 3 car yet. Imagine that being a hit in N-Gauge. I don't know, quite honestly. People tell me. Yes, it would make sense to go with the evolution coaches. That's where my logic is coming from with these Era 2 locomotive launches. They're launching all of these variations of different locomotives, different evolution coaches and different rolling stock and things like that. And I think a few others are hinting into this too. There needs to be these pre-grouping locomotives to go with it.
Yeah, I feel like we're in like a pre-grouping renaissance right now.
Yes,
and it's a beautiful thing.
I'm all for
Absolutely. It. I think we're all very, very happy about the direction we're going in. It's time to retire the big four for a little bit and focus on some really special stuff. Because also we're kind of moving into this period where all the people who enjoyed modeling the big four and, you know, early BR Steam and stuff like that are kind of, I'm not going to say they're getting too old. It sounds terrible to say that, but like there's a sort of mystique around pre-grouping at this point that sort of fascinates all of us because none of us were there around, you know, for it. So there's a big pull to it. And it's something different to model, to be fair.
Well, I also think it's also in the case of how much of the pre-grouping area is in preservation. You know,
sure.
You've got like for us steam lovers, there's a lot of Era 3 and Era 4 locomotives. You know, big grouping, BR, and onwards is all in preservation. It's stuff like that, so we're able to see it. And I think that's the argument that people have for modelling nowadays, is that we're just starting to get the new off-the-line models are starting to come out, so new modelers are able to model what they're able to see. But then you've got people that are going, now we're being lured towards the past. And I think Era 1 was the wrong choice. And Era 2 is in that perfect niche thing of, this is where all the individuality was coming out. This is before the companies were formed, where the identities were being made. You know, all like the LNWR tank, the LNYR big tanks. You know, things like that. Like all of the Welsh companies. You know, I'm all looking forward to seeing if we get Taff Vale locomotives. Especially, you know, I'm very biased, but to see some Taff Vale locomotives and ready to run would be amazing to see. So I'm all for it. I really am.
Absolutely. No, I think you made a good point though, James, about like Era 1, because Era 1 sits in this very strange place in my mind, and that's coming from a guy who was like a steam head to now a proper Clag fan. Era 1 is this weird, like, they're cool, don't get me wrong. I love seeing the beginnings of steam, beginnings of railways, but they're just not appealing to me. There's something about them that is just like this disconnect.
Yeah.
And Era 2 just has that beautiful, like, experimental nature to it, and that you hit the mark there for sure.
I'm glad we can agree on something. No, we agree on a lot. I like that. Moving on, Back to the Future 131 engine would be great. Honestly, yeah. I've been genuinely thinking about of whether or not we can get one, and there is no ready-to-run locomotive from Back to the Future 3, which is a shame, because I love one. And a little DeLorean too, please.
Yeah, that would be cool. Little diorama. That would be awesome.
It would be, I think, so good. SBJs, I have no retort 4 instead of 2. Sorry, you should be. Should be a big mistake, my friend. Come on, you're too used to this now. You're 3 seasons in. You should know your facts.
4 instead of 4, Sam. Surely.
4 instead of 4. If that doesn't make it into the next episode, I will.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hornby, think Hornby would ever do their LNER tourist stock, which is green and cream livery, similar to West Highland coach colours. Hill, what do you think?
I've never seen it. That's the first I've heard of it. Of course, that comes from Aaron. because he's just a literal Bible on this sort of stuff. But that's cool. That'd be great.
Well, there you go. Aaron, reach out to us on the Discord. Let us know what you're talking about, because I genuinely am intrigued.
I mean, given the success of the coronation coaches, and I think that is one of Hornby's. Actually, it's part of this in many ways. The topic of this live stream, hits and misses. Like, that is a hit. The coronation set is properly good. Like, really, really decent.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. Right, let's get through this because we're getting a little bit late. So we're going to start wrapping things up. So if you've got any last final questions, I'm going to say you've got 5 minutes. And then I really
send us your spiciest questions.
Send us your spiciest questions. You've got 5 minutes. I know Aaron's been waiting for this moment. We've got, so Annie is saying, give me Gladstone and E2 and I'm happy. Honestly, E2, yeah, I can agree with that. Gladstone, could give or take. Sam, I'm personally more interested in the brief transitionary period where pre-grouping companies were reformed into the Big Four. Yeah, that's exactly that niche that I'm thinking about, is that last few year period where people they knew it was coming, because they knew it was coming beforehand, but they were still building their own locomotives, knowing full well that they wouldn't come through. And there are a few of those. The castle was built on that premise. The castle was designed in that period of time and was made at the end of it. So LNWR, LNWR, and any Scottish railway would be welcome. Actually agree with that. Can you imagine in 50 years and we're preserving Azumas and Pendolinos? What a world that will be. I mean, you say that, but there's something very recent that has come out of service and has entered preservation. Like was it a 158 or something like that? There was something like within the last 15-20 years that had been built and in service, and it's recently gone into preservation.
PN says aces are now being preserved. So
there you are. I think that was it. Like, that's relatively young.
It is.
Like,
absolutely.
Like that's almost like Class 08 level, because the Class 08s were obviously, they were being withdrawn from the beginning of when stuff was being withdrawn, so they were one of the earliest to get into preservation, and they're still on the network. Like, are we going to end up with that sort of situation going on at some point? Era 1 is tough to build a whole layout around. Completely agree with you. It's very difficult. You've got the whole argument of what gauge. You've got the differences in, like every railway company had a different scale, different gauge, different things like that. It wasn't really standardized. Era 2, yeah, I think you could. There are quite a few hand-built and hand-laid Era 2 layouts that look really nice, especially in 3mm. I think I've seen quite a few Era 2 3mm layouts that look really good.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. That's James. That's LNWR Crook Street.
Yes,
I'm sure you've seen him.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, like mind-blowingly good. Like, it's beautiful Era 2 stuff. Oh, I suppose no, it's Era 2 or 3.
It's Era 2. It's Era 2 into 3.
Okay.
Now, I saw a comment up here that I'm not going to miss because I actually agree with it. It was a Gresley A1 in GNR livery ready to run. Honestly, yes. I completely agree with that assessment. No, okay, good. You heard it here first, guys. The next episode...
sorry, James.
You heard it here first, guys. The next episode of the Model Rail Replacement Podcast has already been recorded. So there you are. Look forward to to that coming up.
And they're organized, hey? They're so much more organized than us.
Dude,
we're scrambling at the last minute. We're like, what's the news? Oh, what's going on? We gotta. And Sam's like, yeah, no, we've recorded our next episode already. It's done.
Well, this is what happens when you stream instead of record. No, it's all in good fun. Hornby would be wise to do the Silver Jubilee coach set. I think they would be very wise to do that.
Yeah, agreed.
But then that plays into do they stick with the fabled let's do LNER because we knows that it will sells, or do we risk it for a chocolate biscuit? You tell me. Derek coming in with for pre-grouping the NBR Class 420 number 224, the Diver, a historically significant Scottish locomotive. I am not familiar with this, so if someone could please post this in the Discord, in the 1-to-1 section.
I love it. I've not seen this logo, Derek. You are broadening my horizons.
Show me, please show me. Put it in.
I'll send it to you in Discord. Yeah,
please do.
That is cool. That is really cool. Wow, I love it. That's awesome. Okay, cool, guys. If you don't know what that is, go Google it. You'll see some photos. It looks amazing.
Yeah, I'm very curious to that. Right, let's start wrapping this up. Imagine broad gauge. So actually, there was some rumors that somebody was looking into broad gauge to try and bring that to market in ready to run. It was about 3 or 4 years ago, and I believe it was it KR? I believe it was KR. It was a mention of maybe we branch into this and see what happens. But I'll have to double check my sources. But broad gauge has been mentioned about whether or not it would be viable in ready to run. There are a few exhibition layouts in broad gauge, but I believe only one of them is quote unquote powered. The other one is a representation. It isn't actually powered. But it is a scale model of, I believe, Dawlish seafront in broad gauge. And it looks really cool. Like it's proper wooden
cool.
rails with metal tiles between them. Like proper really, really looks good.
That's amazing. I just want to jump in here. Bill from 3B Rail says a ScotRail livery class 37 Loch Or for Hilt. And I can't tell you, Bill, how much I want that locomotive.
Yeah.
That is like if anyone knows me and my 37s, I have a Loch problem. I'm collecting all the Lochs.
Yes, you do.
And Loch Or and Loch Isle are the two, and Loch Long actually, but that was Lima. I've not seen a modern tooling of that. I'm inclined to hit up SBJ at Empress Path and get some customs done at some point with him. But yeah, I'd love that ScotRail livery, even though it was never technically in existence, would be amazing on a 37. Oh my gosh! No.
Yeah, no, I think that would be nice.
And I've messaged Rainbow. Sorry, James.
No, carry on, mate.
I've messaged Rainbow Railways and been like, guys, are you going to do this again? And they're like, probably not. Anyways, I'll leave it at that.
Oh, okay. Insider knowledge. Annie, thank you very much for joining us. You've been absolutely wonderful. We will speak to you in the Discord later.
Bye, Annie.
Aaron, your comment is enough. Phil, please ban Aaron from the chat for 2 hours. No, don't drop the ban hammers for that. If he wants to say I'm the lesser James, he is more than welcome to.
James, you're my greater James, I promise.
Breaks my heart. I think I want to finish this up with, I really, really would like to see, no surprise, it's a Great Western locomotive, but I would really like to see Rapido or a Curascale tackle the Night Owl and do it properly.
Yeah.
I really, really would. It pains me how bad the Hellion locomotive is. It pains me how bad it is.
Well, you'll know soon enough.
I will do.
You're gonna find out soon enough. It runs. In case anyone's wondering, I'm sending my Night Owl to James. It is probably in better hands with James. He'll look after it and actually give enough. He'll care enough.
You were about to drop an F-bomb.
I was gonna get a little bit vulgar. Yeah, I really was. He'll give enough to want to fix the Night Owl. To be honest, I cannot be bothered with it. So I'm sending the Night Owl off to James, and I'm hoping he can get it running beautifully. But realistically, it's not a good model. But yeah, I agree with you, James. I think the Night Owl deserves better. It's got a very cool history as a loco, and the services it ran. So it would be great to see, particularly a Curascale, given that they've had now the experience with the Manos. I think they would handle it quite nicely.
So saying that, Pedantic Dan has come out saying redoing something niche that someone else has done recently is basically never viable. I mean, it's 7. I think it's 6 or 7 years old now, so we're still a fair bit off from it. But I can dream, I can definitely dream. But I definitely think it's worth somebody doing justice. 3B, great stream, guys. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Good night to all, and have a great week. You too, my friend. Thank you very much for dropping in.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it, man.
Mount and stuff the Night Owl. Well, I've already stuffed the baby pannier. So no, I've actually ordered some bits for that. But I have some plans for the Night Owl already. I need to take some measurements and I need to do some digging.
Oh, you do you?
Yes, I do.
What are you planning?
I want to give it. I want to redesign the gearbox and give it a much beefier motor.
It definitely needs that. I'll tell you that.
It definitely, and so does the baby pannier. So that the baby pannier will come first as a test, because surprisingly, from your video, the mechanism and how the gearbox is going down to the chassis is exactly the bloody same.
It's not smart. I'll tell you that. It's not in theory it works, but the sheer weight of it just doesn't make sense, James. So
I know. Harry, would you like my large prairie to try and fix? I am open to anything. Honestly, I managed to get the King to work, which was an absolute godsend, which you will see soon. So I'm one for 2 at the moment. 1 for 2 at the moment. So there you are. But yeah, feel free to reach out. We'll see what we can do. Though I am now among the troublesome truck, I have to say this week's stream really raised the bar, as it's been a great delight. Thank you very much, Aaron. As always, it is an absolute pleasure to spend some time talking with you. I genuinely do
as much of a shit stirrer.
Yes, I do not regret it
as he is.
I really do not regret it ever. It's always hilarious, so I appreciate you.
Good night, Sam. As well.
Thank you very much, mate. My friend. Absolute pleasure. And I think with that, we're going to sign off for the night. I think we're rounding down. I think it's been an absolutely great stream. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Hill, I want to say thank you to you. Absolute pleasure as always.
Always good spending time with you, my friend. And all of you guys, thank you very much for joining us. Do join the Discord before you go. If you haven't joined the Discord, if you're tech savvy, join the Discord. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, Phil, I haven't been able to put the link into the Discord. It's definitely in the Discord, in the YouTube description. God, I need to go to bed. Andy, pleasure.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, please join the Discord. We will be better organized for next week. I sincerely promise you. I really sincerely promise you we will be better organized for next week. I've had a shit week. Oh, I've dropped the bomb there again. We're going off.
It's twice in one night. It's going to be penalties next week, James.
I'm going to get told off by YouTube. I can see it now. Harry, if you want to have a discussion on that topic, reach out to me on Instagram or on Discord, and let's have a chat about it.
Harry, you're next. By the way, you're coming up soon.
Harry, you are next. We've had this discussion. Look for the night owl. Anyway, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for sticking around, and we'll see you all next Thursday, 8 p.m. GMT. I'm James. He's Hilton. He was Rob. Dan is somewhere. We'll see how it goes.